decline is a gradual process that takes place in all kinds of things. Automobiles, as they get more miles on them, they begin to decline in their effectiveness. Houses, you build a beautiful house, but trials of weather and heat and all the things that are involved in that begins to cause it to begin to deteriorate, and that's just a way of life. Well, salt, as we have discussed this week, that Jesus talks about, if a salt has lost its savor, how can you put it back? How can you restore that? And all of this came from something that happened in the ministry of Jesus Christ, and that was his two disciples who wanted to be in a special position, one to be on the right hand and one to be on the left hand of Jesus. This caused tremendous uproar among the disciples, and so Jesus had to do some teaching. The first thing he did, he picked up a child, and he talked about that if you want to be a servant of God, you truly have to be a servant, just like a child in simplicity of faith. Just believe that God is, and that he is all that Scripture tells us that he is, and you walk in that. But as life happens, many times that receiving of Christ in a childlike faith begins to erode, and that's the losing of the saltiness. And you say, well, how do you replace that? And I've said this repeatedly this week, that it's the relationship. It's the regaining of the relationship, the trust, the faith, and being able to take on the heart of a servant. As Jesus says, if you give a cup of cold water to someone in my name, then you have done it as unto me. Because that act of kindness, that act of humility, that act of serving someone else above yourself, all of that is a part of the tanginess of the relationship, of the power that we receive when we become Christian believers, when we take on the very nature of Jesus Christ. And it's kind of like what they did when they first began to call us Christians in Antioch, and they say, they walk around like they're just a bunch of little Christ. Well, the truth is that we take that as a compliment, that our lives are lived in such a way that we pattern ourselves after Jesus Christ. We have a heart to be like him. And what did he do? Well, he served humanity. He continues to serve humanity. He sacrificed his own life for humanity. And so when he tells us to be like him and to follow after him, and he tells us to serve our fellow man, serve the Lord with all of our heart and all of our soul, that's where the saltiness, the tanginess, the zest comes from. Just in the heart to just be a servant. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.